finally made it to the last declutter, well, the second to last declutter, because I do intend to do my lip products as well. It just might be a few weeks before we get to that one. We have finally made it to my eyeshadow palette declutter. I did end up splitting this up into two separate parts because the first half took a little bit of time to film, and I didn't want to be here like forever trying to film both parts at the same time. Then the video ends up being an hour and a half long, so I did split it up into two parts. So this video is going to be part one. I don't want to ramble too much in this opening. Get to the good part, which is the actual collection and declutter, so let's jump right on in. As you can see, guys, we have a lot of palettes to go through. We have the ones up here. I also have some over here. These are the ones that I've just kind of been playing around with in my rotation. And then down here on the floor, I have another stack, and these are down here because they don't fit in there. If you saw my overview makeup collection, then you know that these bottom three drawers are eyeshadow palettes, the big ones. So we have this one, we have this one, and then we have this one. This top drawer is palettes, still looking good here, or face palettes. The second drawer, mini eyeshadow palettes. This is still looking good too. I went ahead and I got a bigger basket and took two of these out of here. I think this just looks a lot better. It's more organized. I have a little bit more space. But let's move into what we're here for, and that is our big eyeshadow palettes. So what I think I'm going to do is just to go on ahead and start with the palettes that are out of the drawers first. So up here, there, and then down there. Once we go through those, I will see where we are at. If I find that it's just taking too long, then I'll split the video up into two separate parts. I don't want to be here for 3 hours trying to film one video. So let's just start up here, and then we'll just see where we end up. So what I've done is I've taken all the palettes out of the shelves that are on the wall, the ones that are on the vanity, and the ones that are on the floor, and we just have them all stacked up here. And I'm just going to start pulling from this stack, kind of going through them one at a time, seeing which ones I want to keep, which ones I want to declutter. I have counted this stack and this stack. This stack alone, you guys, is 75 palettes, and this does not count the ones that are in the drawers. I also have some palettes on the way. I ordered one from Menagerie, and I have 4 palettes that are coming in from Shop Missy. They have 4 of those little cherry palettes, so yeah, I need to get rid of some so I can have more room for stuff that will be coming in. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. I'm just going to start just picking from the top, and we're going to go from there. This first one is the Glamlite Red Velvet Cupcake palette. A little cupcake on the front. This is a pretty color story. The formula in this one is not quite the same as the ice cream palette, but I do enjoy this, so I will be keeping it. I don't think I'm going to be decluttering any of my Glamlite palettes right now. This one is from BH Cosmetics. This is the La Vie Dune Prince. I think I'm saying that right. 12 color shadow palette. This one is pastels. I don't know who La Vie Dune Prince is. I know that this was a collaboration, but I just thought the palette was so pretty. As you guys know, BH Cosmetics no longer exists. But this is just a beautiful like pastel palette, so we're definitely going to be hanging on to this one. These 3 are 3 of the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palettes. These are beautiful. We have the Pistachio palette. Gorgeous green color story. The cherry on top, this one, is that red pink color story. Oh, these are so pretty. The formula in these are some of my favorite BH Cosmetics formulas ever made. Revolution London bought the formula, and I'm really, really hoping that they don't change it. You can just keep it exactly the same. You know, they had to file bankruptcy. This is the Orange Sorbet. Beautiful orange toned palette. These 3 are those remix dance palettes. You have the 2000s, the 80s, and the 90s. I'm going to be keeping these 3 too. The 2000s, the remix there. These don't have mirrors on the top. My shadows bring all the boys to the yard. I just thought these were just really cute and nostalgic palettes. The 90s palette, and then the 80s palette. Let me know, guys, what you think about me doing the declutter this way on the floor. When I do the second part, I'm going to just be doing it over the drawers like I did the previous declutters. But if you guys like it this way, then I can do the declutters in the future on the floor in this format. But just let me know down in the comments how you are liking me doing it this way. I'm trying to find ways that look better than the way that they have in the past. You know, we want to continuously progress, not go backwards. This is the I Love Revolution Disney Mulan palette. So pretty. This is one of my favorites. I bought these palettes specifically just for, you know, the collecting because I am a Disney fan. I love the Disney princesses, so this is one of those palettes. This one is the LA Girl Hey Hey Vacay palette. There was a cover on this, but it kind of warped and then became like unsticky and the whole thing just fell off, so I just pulled it off. I don't know what was up with that. Very weird. But the color story is really pretty. It's a beautiful green and orange color story. This was my first LA Girls palette, and other than the fact that the little cover fell off, it's a good palette. So far we're not doing a very good job decluttering, but I do have palettes in here that I am going to be getting rid of, so let's keep going. These two are from, oh, what was it? The cocktail collection from Glamlight. The Dirty Martini and the Wine Dirty Martini palette. Really pretty. And then this one is the Wine palette. Let's do this little stack next. This one came from Hot Topic. It is the Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas eyeshadow palette. This one is Oogie Boogie. I got this strictly for collecting purposes. I don't really ever use it. I put this one kind of out for display during the holiday season. It is a pretty color story. The formula in here, you know, is decent, but I got it, you know, strictly for that. Like I've said before, packaging gets me every time, and there are palettes that I collect specifically for collecting purposes. So this one is a Disney Encanto Alamar collaboration. This palette is just so pretty. I'm trying to get through this quickly before we lose our light. This palette is just stunning. This was my second Alamar Cosmetics palette. Gorgeous. This one is one of the Hello Kitty Kawaii palettes. This also came from Hot Topic. Super cute, adorable color story. The Cup of Noodles palette, also from Hot Topic. I get a lot of the cute little kitschy palettes from Hot Topic. I just think are just super cute. Notice we haven't decluttered anything yet. Also came from Hot Topic. Both of these, actually all three of these came from Hot Topic. The Supernatural palette, the Moana palette, and the Tiana palette. This is what the Moana palette looks like. It's just so cute, and the cover is adorable. The Tiana palette. Once again, beautiful color story. And then this is my Supernatural palette. I'm a huge fan of Supernatural. Love this palette. A lot of the palettes in this particular set are ones that I have mainly for like collecting. That's why they're being displayed. So I know there are not many in this particular set. They're going to be decluttered, but yeah, I really gotta like bog down, guys. I really have to like make some choices. These are, or rather, these four are Nomad Palettes. They did launch a new palette. I'm thinking I'm not going to get it though. If you saw my Paradise Islands review, I've liked all the palettes that came before. That one though, I just felt like the formula was different, and so I'm not really excited about getting the new one. I used to collect them, but not as much anymore. This is the American Parks palette. That's what that color story is looking like. The Cartagena Magica palette. This one is my favorite of all of the Nomad palettes. Beautiful orange color story. I mean, stunning. This one is the Tokyo Harajuku. This is the Japan themed palette. Nomad, their palettes are themed after like different countries and sites and stuff like that in the world, hence Nomad. That's this color story. This is the Nomad Land and Ice, or Fire and Ice palette. I love this color story. The blues and this palette blends so well. Alright, let's dive into this little stack right here. This is the Revolution Makeup Constellation palette. This was a gift from my daughter for Mother's Day, so I most certainly will not be getting rid of this one. I don't know why, but the mirror likes to come loose. But this is what this one is looking like. I've used it a couple of times. The formula is decent. This one is the Star Wars Colourpop palette. I most certainly will not be decluttering this one. I don't know how many of my Colourpop palettes I'm going to be decluttering. I've gotten to where I don't buy Colourpop palettes unless I know for sure it's something that I'm going to want to keep. So there's not a whole lot that I think I want to get rid of, but It's a Star Wars palette. This was the full Star Wars palette, like the overall one. This was their May the 5th Be With You celebration palette. And we have another Hello Kitty palette from Hot Topic. This one just says Hello Kitty. It's really cute. This one is a little bit brighter than the other one. The other one is more pastel. Once again, we have yet to actually declutter any palettes. This one is from Colourpop. This is the So Fly palette. This is one of my favorite color stories and formulas. This wingtip blue right here is just so pretty. This one is newer to my collection. It's from Perfusion, the Upbeat Orange. The formula in this one is okay, but since it is newer to my collection, I'm not ready to like just give it up just yet. This one is that Thor Love and Thunder palette. Breaks into 2 pieces. Formula is okay, but I got it strictly for the packaging and the theming. These are 2 more of those princess palettes, Moana and Tiana. So that's Moana. That's what that color story looks like. I'll tell you one thing, doing it on the floor like this, I'm actually going through these a lot faster than when I'm sitting at my table doing these like one at a time. It's the Tiana one. I definitely won't be giving up my Earthy palette from Beauty Bay. It's beautiful greens, browns. Just this palette is absolutely stunning. I have palettes in the drawers I know for sure I'm decluttering. These mostly are like my display ones, which is why a lot of them, as I mentioned, haven't been decluttered yet. This is BR. This one is new to my collection. This is from Shop Miss A. I think this one I am going to declutter, even though this one is new. It was fun to work with, but I know that I'm not going to pull this one back out again. I may just pass this one on to my daughter, so we have decluttered something. These right here are all Colourpop palettes, so I'm going to go through these. Maybe there may be a couple in here that we can declutter. Probably not, but we'll see. Blow and Smoke. That's the gray-black palette. This one used to be called Smoke and Mirrors. Baby Got Peach. This one I might declutter. Let me do some swatches and see if these shades are still performing well. So, okay, that one is still looking absolutely amazing. Let me swatch a couple of these mattes. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this. It's still performing. It's still looking good. Well, we are about halfway through the overall pile, and I've decluttered 1 palette so far. This one is the Star Wars Darth Vader palette. Very pretty. The Star Wars Mandalorian palette. Love this color story. My favorite of the 3 or of the 4 Star Wars palettes, is it 4? Yes, 4 Star Wars palettes is this one. The Child palette. This color story, even if it was not a Star Wars themed palette, I would have snagged it. Those beautiful warm tone greens. This is so beautiful. These 2 I do think I am going to declutter. These are the Milani Halloween palettes. This one was from this year. This is a Haunted Hollow. The formula in these, they're ho-hum. I got them strictly for the theming, just to kind of test them out. But this one, I thought had kind of a Beetlejuice kind of a theme to it. But yeah, I don't really like the formulas in these palettes. So I'm going to go ahead and give them up. What am I saying? Then these palettes. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and declutter these. This is the Wild Child Colourpop palette. So these have some rich, deep, warm tone browns. This will be beautiful on deeper skin tones. Definitely going to keep this one. It's really the only palette that I have that has brown tones that are like that rich and that deep. The Alternative Rock palette from The Balm. This has made it through so many declutters, but it's really beautiful. I mean, you have everything you need in here: bronzer, blush, highlighter. These shadows are so pretty, so we're gonna keep this one kicking in the collection. Sweet Talk. This was one of the very first Colourpop palettes I ever got, and maybe the second one that I got, but it still performs beautifully. This is the perfect peachy spring tone palette. Gorgeous. Lush Life. Look at those vibrant tones. This green right here is just gorgeous. I'm gonna hang on to this one a little longer. I swear at this rate, when December rolls around, I'm gonna have like 300 palettes and I've gotten rid of nothing. Limoncello. This color story is really pretty. This blue I found a little bit difficult to blend out, but the rest of the palette, so pretty. This one I got strictly for collecting purposes, the Powerpuff Girls. Look at that. That's so adorable, and the tones and formulas in here are beautiful. These two are the Hocus Pocus palettes. The Witching Hour. This one came out 2021, and then this one was the first one, the Gather Around Sisters. Man, the hype to get this one sold out like immediately, it was chaos. It was the same way with the not the Powerpuff Girls, the Sailor Moon collection. Beautiful palette. I like this one more than this one, but for collecting purposes I will be keeping both. The High Tide palette. This is one of the most beautiful and unique color stories that Colourpop has done. Just look at those beautiful blues. Then we have the Tinkerbell Sprinkle a Little Magic. This palette is heavy. Ooh, beautiful. The Disney Designer collection. Beautiful soft color story. Got this for collecting purposes. Same with this one. This is the Midnight Masquerade palette. Oh, so pretty. This is the Mulan. The color story in this one, the formula, I don't really like, but Mulan's my favorite Disney princess, so therefore we will be hanging on to this. And we have the Misunderstood palette, which is the Villains. Another pretty palette. I'm actually sitting on the floor in my son's bedroom. This room has like the best light as far as, you know, sitting on the floor and doing something like this. The Secret Admired palette. This was from this January, not January, February. This was their Valentine's Day collection this year. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to it for a little bit longer since it is newer to my collection. We have Big Poppy, Little Ray of Sunshine. This one is a sunflower theme palette, and then this one is Poppy. Both of these are all matte palettes. The formulas in these are not my favorites. I don't know. Let me think about it. Just my luck. I will definitely be hanging on to this one. This green in the middle. Mary Jane. So freaking stunning. Blue Moon. These are from when they did that huge monochromatic series where they launched palettes that were like just different color themes, all monochromatic. Just another beautiful palette. At Foresight, this was the Raw Beauty Christie collaboration. Stunning. The Sailor Moon. When this one launched, there was so much chaos. Like, there were a lot of people in countries where they could not get the palette, where the Colourpop isn't sold and they didn't know it. They were up at like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get the collection. Yeah, there were a lot of people that were mad. And it took me about 6 months to finally collect all the pieces to have the full collection, because what had happened was that the day that it launched, they didn't take Afterpay, but they didn't tell anyone that. And so I was not able to buy the full collection because I had planned on doing it on Afterpay. And then I thought, you know what, let me just go ahead and do it on a credit card, but by the time I decided to do that, it was already sold out. But that's this palette. And then I think this is the last Colourpop palette, at least these. I do have like the bigger ones that are in the drawer. The Lust for Dust. This is one of my favorites. This shade right here, so beautiful. Ooh. Had to stretch out my legs. My feet were getting tired. Alright, so now we're down to this stack and then we are finished. This one right here is the Kimchi palette, the Teddy Bear Boyfriend palette. This one sits on my shelf. Like whenever I'm filming, you see this one in the background. You have Face palette up here, and then these down here are eyeshadow palettes. This palette I will never give up. This is my Tiny Marbles Mel Thompson Sydney Grace palette. As you guys know, or you may not know, but Mel passed away earlier this year. This was her baby. And this palette is absolutely stunning. This will never leave my collection. This one is newer. This is one of the Tin Pan palettes from Profusion. This formula is really nice. This is the Emeralds palette. These are so pretty. The Tin Pan palettes are really nice. This one is newer to my collection. It is the Make Beauty Fun palette from Essence. I think I am going to go ahead and declutter this one even though it is newer. I'm going to pass this one on to my daughter. The formula is okay, but I had a very difficult time finding any real depth in this palette. The two deeper shades right here, both of these are shimmers. Had they been mattes, you could have had a little more depth to this palette, but as you can see, most of the shades are like lighter. There's only so many looks that you can do with this. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out. This is my Soul Main 2 palette from Udenzai. This is the newest launch to their collections, to their brand, and this one is stunning. Udenzai, I will not be getting rid of any of those palettes. This one is from Malibu Glitz. It is the Sorbet Dreams 35 Color Beauty Palette. This one is stunning. I got this off of Shop Cherry. This one kind of reminded me of the ice cream palette from Glamlight. Just look at that. These shimmers are so creamy and silky. This palette was just stunning. This one is my only Sugar Peel palette. This is from their capsule collection. This is the orange one. So pretty. Now, these three I am going to be decluttering. These three are my big Walhalla palettes. I'm going to go ahead and let these three go. I realized when I got this one, this is the Culture palette, that I'm not really a huge fan of the Juvia's Place eyeshadow formula anymore. I find it to be like kind of meh, like it's not the best, doesn't blend the best. The shimmers are not like particularly outstanding. I love the color story, like this looks so beautiful, but yeah, I just was not super impressed with it. I'm gonna give this one to my daughter. I know she would love it, but these two I'm going to pass on. I have a couple of friends that watch my channel. I'm gonna reach out to you guys to see if either one of you have these palettes. You'll know when you get the message, and if you don't, then I will send these your way, but we will see. The Walhalla, this is the first one. The color story is pretty, and this one is kind of a duochrome, but yeah, it's not my favorite formula, guys. And then the Walhalla 2. The biggest issue with this one, as you can see, there are a lot of shades in here that are the same, especially in these three columns right here. Once again, formula is okay. There are a lot of pressed glitters in here, like this one, that one. Not fond of that. I'm also going to go ahead and declutter the BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year palette. This was the 2021 edit. This came out last year. This was, I think, the last Lunar palette they launched. I think they launched one this year. If they did, it was only on Beauty Bay. They never actually launched it on their website before they filed for bankruptcy. The formula in here is okay. It's not the same as some of their other palettes, and there are a lot of pressed glitters in here, so I am going to go ahead and let this one go. This one is my absolute favorite palette from Glamlight. This is the Ice Cream Dreams palette. So beautiful. The formulas in here are so super creamy. And like I said, some of the shimmers in here remind me, or rather, the Malibu Glitz one reminds me a lot of this one. So pretty. Two more palettes, guys, and we are going to be done with this first part. This palette is so special. This is the BH Cosmetics Night palette. This came out Christmas of 2020. As you can see, it looks like an ugly sweater. They had one called the Nice palette too. That one was like a smaller palette. That color story didn't really stand out to me, but this one I thought was gorgeous. Look at this. There are so many special shades in here, like Coal, so pretty, and then Decked Out. This palette is just so super special. It was like after they did this collection, BH Cosmetics just lost their way, and in 2021 they just started trying to be Colourpop, launching new stuff like every 5 minutes, and it was just too much. This is so beautiful. This will always be in my collection. And then the last palette. This is the NYX Professional Chilling Adventures Sabrina Part 3 palette. This is collaboration with Netflix. I got this one strictly for collecting. I was a huge Sabrina fan. This one is designed to look like a spell book. So you have the inside, looks like a page of a spell book. The formula itself is very meh. NYX does not make the best eyeshadow formula, not by any means. Their liner, the Epic Ink Liner, is absolutely amazing, but I don't know what it is. They just can't seem to get an eyeshadow formula right, though. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and end it for this part. I am going to go ahead and separate it into two separate videos. I think it'll just be way too long if I try to put it all into one. So this is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Make sure that you tap that notification bell so you'll be notified when that video drops. Also follow me on my other socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.